are pushing to change the way we conduct business as a university and on our respective campuses. Many of us in the university have taken a position that we ought not change and that we ought to always remain true to the historic mission of open access at this great university. But there are also other powerful forces that are at play, forcing the university to change in some very dramatic kinds of ways. And as the university changes, Medgar Evers College also has to change. The train is leaving the station. And in fact, I've had to run to catch the train. And there are some who still stand in the station saying, I don't want to want to ride on that train. And that's the only train in town. And if we are not on the train, it's difficult for us to negotiate what stops the train ought to make or the destination of that train. So whether we like it or not, the university is changing its policies to reflect a new direction and a view as to where we ought to be as a university and where we ought to be as constituent institutions. Before I get into the meat of the discussion here today, I would like to make a few announcements. All of you received from my office a memo outlining that there were some title changes in the administration. The position of Provost Vice President has been designated to change to Senior Vice President Provost, the Dean of Administration, Vice President of Administration, and Dean of Student Affairs, Vice President of Student Affairs. These changes in terms of designation are in keeping with the structure of the senior colleges within the university, and I dare say most of the community colleges in the City University of New York. For those of you who are wondering whether or not these designations will in fact entail salary increases, the answer is no. It is simply a title change. The job is the same, and the salary is the same. The four heads of the schools who are now, they're called assistant deans. Effective April 1, the current incumbents will become acting deans of schools. This will put us in line with our sister institutions and colleges across the universities across the nation, and where heads of schools are full deans. A national search will be undertaken to fill those positions, and you will be hearing much more about that as the provost communicates to all of you the search process and what we would expect to take place. Dean Shanley has indicated to me some very encouraging news. We have, as you know, many of our students sat for the teacher examination in this past January. On the LAST, previously I believe the average was 25% of those who sat for the exam passed, and today results we find that 42% of those passed. It is a substantial improvement, but much more must be done. My thanks to the faculty of the Teacher Education Department and all of our colleagues for that. A more impressive good news about that is that on the ATSW, the percentage passing was 70%, which is 2 points higher than the CUNY average. So, and that's the discipline piece, and we are very pleased with that. So we're making progress in terms of strengthening the academic program in terms of teacher education. We have not disaggregated the scores on the LASTs to see whether or not, in fact, those students that we certified to sit for the examination, in fact, passed the examination. And only those that we have certified will we be accountable for in terms of the results. Thirdly, I want to share with you that as of last Wednesday evening, the Board of Trustees Long-Range Planning Committee met at the central office to discuss a proposed policy change in terms of who would be accepted to the senior colleges offering baccalaureate degrees, as well as the length of time that students could enroll in community colleges and need remediation. The proposal that was under consideration as of Wednesday afternoon was that all baccalaureate degree programs and all students who are applying to baccalaureate degree programs in the City University of New York who need more than less than one semester of remediation would not be accepted to those institutions. And that is, any student who needed more than less than. That is, a summer, if you were able to meet a summer immersion program and could complete your requirements, or intersession, you could gain acceptance to the university. If you needed more than less than, needed a semester worth of remediation, then those students would not be accepted to the baccalaureate degree granting institution. And when one looked at the data, and there were roughly 8,000 students who had been admitted to the university last fall, and if the proposed policy were to be implemented, 3/4 of the Black and Hispanic students and Asian students would not have been admitted to the university under those proposed guidelines. And half of the whites would not have been admitted. There was a lot of discussion about impact on the presidents who were there. I was asked to talk about the impact the proposed policy would have on the institutions. I don't know why that was necessary, since the data already had suggested that the impact that it would have. And for colleges such as York City, Lehman, in particular, the impact would be even greater in terms of the proposed policy. I went to the board meeting not intending to speak at all, but I could not contain myself. And so I spoke about the disproportionate impact this proposed policy would have on the poor, Blacks, Hispanics, and Asian in particular. And that this policy would diminish the opportunity for people who wanted to pursue a higher education and through no fault of their own in terms of their K through 12 experience would be denied an opportunity to participate in the senior college experience. I'm pleased to say that, and subsequent to that, I should say, before I say I'm pleased to say, we prepared a 2.5-page document that we faxed to the central office and to the chairwoman of the Board of Trustee, Chairperson Paolucci, suggesting that there ought to be another option included. One option for those campuses that want to have less than students who need less than 1 semester remediation, that they could do that, such as Baruch and Queens, who say they can do that. And then for senior colleges offering baccalaureate degree programs to have a 1 semester requirement. So that extends and opens the door to a lot more students than was currently proposed. And then the community colleges having 1 calendar year, except students who are in need of remediation for 1 calendar year. I'm pleased to say, as of 9 p.m. Friday evening, I was not here, but the facts states what time it came in. The proposal on the table for consideration now includes the recommendation that I made, and I'm very pleased to say that, and proud to say that that this new proposal will open the gate to a substantial more students than had it not been proposed, because we know that most students need at least 1 semester of remediation. And then there are still going to be hundreds and thousands who will be denied admissions to the senior colleges to their baccalaureate degree programs. So I'm pleased that there has been a change. It is what I had suggested. It's documented, and anyone would like a copy of what we submitted, you may feel free to get a copy from my office. So let us be vigilant. There are many unknowns that the comprehensive action plan speaks to, and many of those things have to be worked out. But we've made some progress, and I believe that this proposal will receive the support of the Board of Trustees, and we will move forward. One of the questions that the board member asked me when I was speaking, after I had spoken, well, why are you speaking when Medgar would not be as adversely affected as the other students, as other campuses? And my response was, and is still, that I'm not just speaking for Medgar Evers College. I am an educator. And I'm moving beyond Medgar, but talking about the impact that policies, that their proposed policy would have on all campuses. See, when you kind of localize it on your own campus, see, then you can divide, and therefore you don't provide the kind of strength and the collectivity to look at the university as a whole. And our responsibility, seems to me, as presidents, is not just talk about what was going on our own campus, but the impact it would have on people. And one of the things that I will always tell you, I know that I'm always black. If that's a surprise to you, fine. Okay? And I have a responsibility to speak when I believe that people of color are going to be adversely affected. The other thing you need to know is that this is a class issue. Race is just an overlay. It's a class issue. And you need to understand that. So that then what you can do then is bring together all people in the class and not let race be a divider. So that's enough of that. In fact, what you found, if you read the New York Times, I was quoted correctly. And I'm not ashamed, I was quoted correctly. We are here today to present a proposal. Ladies and gentlemen, there are plenty of seats down here. Come on down. Come on down. It's going to be a long meeting, so you may as well take a seat if you're going to stay. The proposal is Medgar Evers College, A View to the 21st Century. At this point in our development, we at Medgar Evers College are standing at a crossroad. The decisions that we make today regarding the direction we take will have a lasting impact on our future. The choices are clear. One, we can re-engineer the college by taking these bold and definitive steps that will position us as a quality senior college, or two, we can continue down the same road, maintaining the status quo and wait for external forces to dictate our future. There are detractors who are calling for Medgar Evers College to be closed down, made into a remedial institution, reconverted to a community college, and or merged with another CUNY college. A recent article in the City Journal mentioned these options specifically. There are many who believe that these threats are hollow and too far-fetched to be taken seriously. I'm here to tell you today that they are serious and imminent. The only way I know to hedge against these threats to our survival is for us to re-engineer our academic enterprise by taking bold, creative, and definitive steps. The choice is clear. The only questions that must be answered are, how do we re-engineer Medgar Evers College, and what is the time frame for implementation? Today, I will outline the steps that I propose that we take to re-engineer the academic enterprise at Medgar Evers College. Re-engineering of the academic enterprise will not address all of the challenges presently before the college. While it is an important first step, there will need to be similar analysis in the area of student affairs, finance, and administration, sponsored research, strategic planning. And in addition, the re-engineering that I will now propose will need to be phased in over 3 years based upon an appropriate strategic plan. I want to begin a comprehensive but speedy discussion on this proposal with input from the entire college community. From that discussion will come our final plan. As time is of essence, we must begin this re-engineering process immediately. Moreover, this process will require a team effort with our collective, concerted, and undivided attention. By the way, I forgot when I was making the announcement that Dr. Doris Withers, the assistant provost, will be promoted to associate provost at Medgar Evers College. Since fall 1989, we have been following the goals, objectives, and initiatives as outlined in setting a new agenda for Medgar Evers College, a blueprint for excellence in 1990 and 1995. This plan charted a course that we followed until the fall of 1992, when it was modified due to changed circumstances in both the CUNY and the global environments. In response to changes in the global environment in fall 1992, we modified our prescribed course when we adopted a philosophy of educating our students for the New World Order and implemented the concept of internationalization of the curricula. In addition, we adopted a new organizational structure for the academic affairs area of the college. In 1993-94, the university formally adopted an academic program review process as a part of the recommendation of the Advisory Committee on Academic Program Planning, dubbed the Goldstein Report. This prompted us to formalize our academic program review process in a more structured manner. We also adopted the concept of niche creation as an overriding strategy in academic program planning and evaluation. In July 1994, we officially regained senior status. From 1995 to the present, we have been following the strategy delineated in Medgar Evers College Strategic Plan 1995-2000, leading the way into the 21st century, improving productivity and enhancing quality. In general, this plan is a continuation of the planning process that was started in the fall of 1990, taking into consideration the modifications and changed circumstances that occurred between 1990 and 1995, and the planning effort for that period and a projection for the future. Since its implementation in July 1995, strategic plan for 1995-2000 has been modified to take in consideration the June 1926 1995 Board of Trustees resolution of the Committee on Long-Range Planning, which provided much of the framework and guidelines for restructuring the college academic programs. The APP effort, now in its 5th year, has positioned us to undertake this academic re-engineering effort at this time. With a spirit of change that presently engulfs the university, it is imperative that we too change in response to shifting realities. The appropriate circumstances external to the college and CUNY and internally as a result of the university academic program planning efforts are currently in place to allow the fast tracking of the re-engineering of our academic enterprise. As we prepare to address the uncertainties of the 21st century, we must be aware that enhancing quality and improving productivity are priorities of all of our stakeholders. The university and thus the college main stakeholders are demanding the increased utilization of advanced technology, increased learning time degree reduction, higher faculty productivity, and stronger degree programs. The business and corporations that employ our graduates feel that they are spending too many resources re-educating our graduates. They are demanding that our students be exposed to more rigorous and relevant curricula that will provide them with the requisite tools, skills, and competencies to be productive employees. Students are also demanding through their flight to other colleges and universities rigorous and relevant curricula that will make them more competitive as they pursue employment and or graduate or professional studies and licensing. To be competitive, we at Medgar Evers College must assess our resource utilization practices and the quality of our programs and better use of our resources in program development. Becoming more productive and upgrading the quality of our offerings must be at the forefront of all that we do. A Medgar Evers College degree shall signify academic excellence and identify to the world graduates who are competitive with those of similar institution within higher education. No MEC graduate should feel that his or her degree is second-rate. The obvious goal of re-engineering the academic enterprise at Medgar Evers College is to create a better college. And as we strive to re-engineer the college to meet the demands of our stakeholders, the undergirding philosophy must be grounded in the creation of centers of excellence, curricular globalization, holistic integration, and enhanced quality, and improve productivity, and preservation of the spirit of our traditional open admissions. These concepts must be foremost in our minds as we undertake this endeavor. The concept of creation of centers of excellence recognize the uniqueness of the schools and envision that each school would develop centers of excellence for which it would be known. It required that each school honestly and critically evaluate each program to determine its usefulness and determine those programs that could be positioned as center of excellence. Curricular globalization addresses the need to establish a global perspective in all of the college academic programs such that every MEC graduate will gain an understanding and appreciation of the world and its interrelatedness and the cohesiveness of its various regions. Holistic integration underscores the fact that from a holistic perspective, the enhancement of quality and productivity improvement recognize the need for the college to develop a comprehensive operational strategy to meet the high expectation of its stakeholders. Re-engineering the academic enterprise at Medgar Evers College requires that we answer 4 fundamental questions. 1, where are we now? 2, where do we want to be? And 3, how will we get there? And 4, who must do what? Additionally, after having implemented the re-engineering effort, we will need to assess how we are doing compared to what we said we wanted to do. This assessment will entail determining our degree of success in meeting the stated goals and objectives. Where are we now? Addressing this question requires that we perform an internal audit of our academic programs by honestly and critically assessing each program's strengths and weaknesses. It also requires that we, one, perform an audit of the college external environment to determine the potential opportunities that currently exist and those that are likely to be available in the foreseeable future, and two, identify the possible threats to our continued viability and our survival. The strengths of Medgar Evers, some of them. Several positive and encouraging realities exist currently at Medgar Evers. First, we have a strong, dynamic, and experientially diverse student body. Our students, most of them sincerely desire to do well academically and deserve our tireless effort in helping them to meet their education goals. They are the most important people on this campus. We also have a strong, dynamic faculty that is highly skilled and knowledgeable, having received their schoolings from some of the leading universities in the country, including the University of Wisconsin at Madison, Columbia University, New York University, Howard University, Rutgers University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Ohio State University, Stanford University, University of California at Berkeley, Michigan State University, Cornell, Brown University, Johns Hopkins University, University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and many, many others. They are deeply committed to our efforts to enable our students to be successful and providing a quality education experience for the college-going population of Central and Greater Brooklyn, New York. We also have a number of strong or promising degree programs. Two of our largest programs, nursing and teacher education, address important needs within the Central Brooklyn community. These programs are important and continue to develop into exemplary academic programs. The environmental science program, one of our newest degree programs, is already being acknowledged throughout the city. It is a unique program that addresses a growing need within the Central Brooklyn community and indeed throughout the city. Other strong and developing programs continue to operate at the college. Some of our weaknesses. Conversely, we have a few weak programs, or programs that for one reason or another do not offer promise or prosperity in the near future. These programs need to be honestly assessed to determine whether they should be realigned or phased out. Medgar Evers College has increased its enrollment by more than 120% since 1988. Unfortunately, the college infrastructure was not adjusted accordingly. This reality has created a number of conditions at the college that preclude our flourishing in the 21st century. For example, we have limited and somewhat deteriorating physical space for classes and offices. 2, an inappropriately large percentage of classes staffed by adjuncts. And 3, classes are too large. There are massive roof leaks, heavily damaged floors, and related physical facility deterioration. And also, despite the spending of nearly $2 million over the past 2 years, the college still lags substantially behind other comparable institutions in the timely acquisition and wise utilization of the state-of-the-art technology, a necessity as we move towards the new millennium. This all has a negative impact on the teaching and learning process and the image of the college as perceived by internal and external constituencies. The morale of our faculty, staff, and students has suffered, and as a result, productivity in the areas represented by these constituencies has been less than desirable. That is, faculty productivity has been significantly impaired, administrative productivity has been reduced, and student performance has suffered. All of these byproducts of the rapid enrollment increase have had an adverse effect on the quality of the academic enterprise at Medgar Evers College. Another factor which has negatively impacted upon the college is the way in which students are directed to the college from the university's central administration. The level of academic preparedness of the Medgar Evers College incoming student population is the lowest among the senior colleges in CUNY, and even falls below the average for CUNY community colleges when measured in CAA scores. As a result, unfortunately, MEC has had the burden of stretching its limited resources, unusually thin in order to address the overwhelming needs for post-secondary readiness skills among its students. With resources similar to that of other CUNY senior college only in the last few years, Medgar has had to address a disproportionate number of students who are underprepared for college. This unusually large need to focus on post-secondary readiness has drawn readily on the human and material resources of the college, and most notably the key departments of language, literature, communication skills, and philosophy and mathematics. As a result of this inappropriate channeling of students to the college, all of our students have suffered in terms of the availability of human and material resources necessary for a high-quality academic enterprise. So where do we go from here? The overarching goal of re-engineering is to create a better college, a college that is competitive with its counterpart within CUNY, as well as with those within the higher education continuum. And to do this, we must come to grips with our core processes, balance cost and quality, and wisely invest our limited resources in strong, viable, productive programs and services which there is a demonstrated need within the surrounding communities, the state, the city, the state, and nation. As we do so, our undergirding philosophy must encompass the concept of creation of centers of excellence, holistic integration, curricular globalization, improving productivity, and enhancing quality. Guided by the concept outlined above, I have made a preliminary assessment of the programs within the college, as well as an assessment of the community, borough, city, and state imperatives that need to be addressed by the college. At present, we do not have adequate resources, neither human nor material, to distribute to our wide array of programs with students with such a wide range of skill levels, with the result that few of our programs improve. My assessment included, but not limited to, honestly addressing the following questions. 1, how competitive is the program on a city, state, and national level? 2, is the program addressing a current or anticipated need within the community, city, and state? 3, are there adequate full-time faculty in the program in order to offer the kind of program that is needed? Does the faculty possess the prerequisite skills in training and schooling? How many graduates have emerged from the program in the last 5 years? And 5, how many majors are currently in the program? And how has this number fluctuated in the past 5 years? And in assessing the success of our existing programs, I employed the following set of criteria to encompass a definition of success. 1, graduation rates for the period 1992-93 through 1996-97 or for a shorter period for newer programs. 2, enrollment patterns for the period 1992-93 through 1996-97 or for a shorter period for newer programs. 3, program competitiveness in the borough, city, state, and nation, and 4, quality and quantity of faculty. Based upon my assessment and the classification of programs, I am proposing the following general actions. 1, increase the human and material resource base for all programs that address a clear need or that have the potential to address a clear need. 2, reassess the programs do not address a clear need. Possible options include phasing out or reorganizing such programs. And 3, identify needs that are not being met by existing programs and create appropriate programs. How will we get there? In order to address the challenges before us, I am proposing 2 major initiatives. The first is a 4-tiered model for re-engineering admission to the college. This is important because at present we are attempting to educate within one structure students with an unusual wide range of post-secondary readiness. The second initiative addresses structural changes in the academic and academic support programs offered at the college. This aspect of the proposed re-engineering including phasing out, redesigning, renaming, and combining degree programs and departments. Initiative 1, a 4-tiered admission structure. Our mission in serving the community surrounding the college demands that we continue to maintain the spirit of open admissions philosophy. However, we are currently spreading our resources, material and human, too thin to maintain the spirit of our mission and redirect resources in the areas that are currently underfunded. Adjustments are necessary in our program delivery if we are going to be more effective in addressing the varied needs of our students, while maintaining the spirit of the college open admission policy. Admission criteria will be established for each of the following 4 tiers. These admission criteria will be comprised of an established composite score encompassing such criteria as SAT scores, placement examination scores, high school GPA, high school coursework CPI units, and high school rank, and etc. You will notice that I am deleting from my vocabulary remediation and calling it post-secondary readiness. Now, Rose by any other name is still a rose, but remediation has become a dirty word and a lightning rod. So you change the nomenclature, and hopefully you will change the debate. If you don't believe it, just look at what has happened in this country. So we just simply want to take on some of the strategies that worked elsewhere. Tier 1. This sector will be comprised of students who have scored at less than a minimal acceptable level on the composite criteria. These students will be referred to the School of Continuing Education and External Programs to undertake a comprehensive post-secondary readiness program that will provide them with the requisite competencies to allow them to meet the minimal admission criteria to undertake college-level work. These students could then reapply for admission to Medgar Evers College. I have said on many occasions that approximately between 50 and 100 students are admitted to Medgar Evers every fall, and a lesser number for the spring, who cannot benefit from the current structure that we provide in terms of post-secondary readiness. And most of them end up being attrition casualties, many of whom have received loans and leave Medgar Evers College worse off than when they came here, because now they got a debt of $10,000, $20,000, and we did not deal with them effectively. Now, there's nothing wrong intellectually with these students that I'm talking about, but rather in terms of the level of schooling that they have received. And it is just unconscionable and immoral for any institution to accept people just for numbers' sake and not be able to do something with them and for them. Those students in Tier 1 will always have an opportunity to come back into the mainstream of Medgar Evers. But we want them to be able to do that and be successful at doing that. We plan to provide, the cost for such a program would be minimal, maybe a $50 registration fee. Tier 2. This sector will include students who have performed at a level of competency on the composite criteria that is substantially higher than those students in Tier 1, but below the level required to perform college-level work. Students in this sector will be required to complete their college readiness requirement within 1 year, with the understanding that within 3 years, the focus on post-secondary readiness will be limited to 1 semester plus. The actual duration of a post-secondary readiness skill enhancement for each individual student will be prescribed by the appropriate faculty. This would require an exercise by the faculty through which they will define post-secondary readiness skills in reading, writing, communication, and math, and develop an assessment instrument to assess each student acquisition of these skills. Depending on the nature of the college preparedness of deficiencies, students in this sector will be allowed to take some college level courses. And exiting from Tier 2 will require successful completion of the requisite proficiency and achieving minimum scores on the placement test. This group, Tier 2, would be more the traditional reading 004 crowd and math and writing 004 crowd. And math, I'm not sure the equivalent, but it's 004, 03, 003. Second level. Okay, ladies, second level. I can't keep my head these lettering, but it's the traditional second level. That is the group that is one level below college level skills as we have defined it at Medgar Evers. And that level that is one level below that would be in a different kind of experience. I am also proposing that the faculty devote its time and attention to the collegiate process. What most of us have been hired to do is to teach our disciplines, in our disciplines. The Post-Readiness Center will be a separate unit at Medgar Evers College. That is my proposal. Now, why? Much of our energies and efforts over the last decade have been directed towards remediation. And whether we like it or not, it has changed our view of what college level work ought to be about. So I'm saying to the faculty in language, literature, and LLCP and mathematics, let go. Let go of remediation, and you become the arbitrator of how well the academic post-secondary readiness, you see, I still say remediation, readiness program performs. The faculty here, as I proposed in my document to the university, when they proposed in the document, the CAP plan, that students ought to have an equivalent to a 13th grade level. Well, there's no such thing as a 13th grade level in terms of skills. There are collegiate level skills that students ought to have. And those skills are determined by faculty on the respective campuses across the university. So I'm returning to a theme that I put forth before, that I'm asking the faculty to determine the pre-collegiate skills that all students need to possess in order to be successful at Medgar Evers College. And once you do that, then we can talk about the length of time and who can be accepted into the post-secondary readiness center or program. My sense is we can do it better. And let me suggest to you that if we don't do it better, that won't be a Medgar Evers College. You need to understand that. If we don't do it better, there will not be a Medgar Evers College because they won't be able to come here. And they won't be able to enroll in our degree programs. Let me suggest to you that another reason why I spoke at the board meeting was, while they were concentrating on those institutions, senior colleges that had baccalaureate degree programs only, I felt it may not be long before they were coming after those colleges that had baccalaureate degree and associate degree programs. So if I could kind of stop that wheel from running too fast, perhaps we would not be sucked up into that whole process. Our students need more time on task. And the current configuration and the costs associated with it just does not work. And when we look at success, and I look at the number of students who take the O-level courses, and those students have to repeat those classes 48 to 50% every semester. Every semester. So only 50% of our students get through the program first time around. That should say something to us about curriculum structure and the need for reform. Three-credit course or four-credit course. For many of our students, that kind of experience is inappropriate. And in most cases, we are teaching high school subjects. And my sense is we don't need a PhD to teach high school subjects. And if that were the case, then high schools would have the requirement that everyone teaching in the high school must have a PhD, right? Now, they're supposed to teach the subject matter. Now, there are other reasons I won't get into why that's not taking place here, because that's another larger question, but class. We can do it better in a different environment in terms of structure and prove to the larger community that it can work. Because if we don't become a model of success, we meaning all of us, going to give ammunition to the detractors to suggest that all remediation ought to be out of our senior colleges and to reduce it even further in the community colleges. So we have a greater responsibility than just fixing Medgar Evers, but creating a model of success that can be replicated throughout this university and throughout the country. There's no reason why we can't. We have the best intellect you can find anywhere in a cumulative sense. So there's no reason why we can't do this. The new contract, if it's ever signed, permits the hiring of a different classification of faculty to teach basic skills and remediation. Academic readiness. We'll get it together. But this delete from your mind, your language, your vocabulary, remediation. Now, this is not to suggest or to denigrate the faculty here who have given so much over the last 25 plus years to provide opportunities for our students and a gateway to opportunity. But there are now more compelling reasons why we got to move on and why we have to change. In Tier 3, those are students who, in fact, who meet the admissions requirement and can enroll in the college without having any deficiencies. And Tier 4 is we are going to strengthen and to recast our college honors program. With my colleagues in development, we're going to attempt to raise scholarships to attract some of the best and the brightest to come to Medgar Evers College. That is tuition and books. And then they can add anything else they want to that. No institution ought to do one thing and one thing only. And we ought to be, we want to have one of the greatest programs in terms of a college honors program that would build upon the successes that we've had and look at the weaknesses and find new ways to improve what we do. 4 tiers. The traditional 003 sets of students will go into a post-secondary readiness center under adult and continuing education. Let me describe one piece in terms of that, one characteristic of that group. When we had a meeting with the central office and we identified this 50 to 100, they said, we know who they are. These are students who have taken only one composition or one writing course in all of their high school experience. One. So you wonder why you have such difficulty, then you understand, right? You understand what the issue is. But they've been piling them on us hot and heavy. 2. Tier 2 would be our traditional 004 group. And I use reading and writing as 004 in the comparable math. Tier 3 would be those who are eligible for admission to the college based upon what the university is saying, putting forth, and what we would further amplify in terms of establishing an admission criteria for students coming directly into the college without needing any remediation. And Tier 4 would be our newly recasted honors program at Medgar Evers. Now, Initiative 2. Academic and academic support program changes. My second initiative encompasses 25 strategies. In proposing these strategies, I'm guided by the undergirding philosophy of niche creation through the establishment of centers of excellence. That is, we are not going to try to be all things to all people. A niche for us in terms of teacher education would be to prepare our students to teach in urban school systems. That's a niche. Now you can do it more globally by training people to teach wherever, but that's not where the need is, and so we call it a niche. Holistic integration such that the resulting college will be greater than the sum of its individual programs and services, and enhancing quality and improve productivity such that the resulting programs and services will be more efficient and effective in the use of resources and producing desired outcomes. Each of the proposed strategies adhere to these principles, and when implemented will position the college to achieve the overarching goal of re-engineering of academic affairs and thus create a better institution. In instances where I'm proposing new degree programs, it should be understood that they should be designed to achieve high but appropriate goals, increasing annually for enrollment and graduation rates, as well as for overall program quality. All in all, I am proposing the phasing out of 3 degree programs and 2 departments, the changing of 2 department names, and the change of 1 school name, and the merging of 2 degree programs, and the creation of 7 new degree programs and 3 new departments. Just aside, one of the things that we've learned in looking at the data that the university has provided in terms of graduation rates I've shared it with certain segments of the college, but you all need to know. Majority of our students who enter Medgar Evers enter through the associate degree program. Majority of them do not seek the associate degree program, do not apply for graduation, and therefore go on for the baccalaureate degree. We are penalized because those, in terms of graduation rates, because those students do not graduate with associate degrees. We can double, almost, or raise the graduation rate by 60% without doing anything but requiring students to graduate with associate degree. And we are going to do that. What does that do? There are several things. It puts us then in line with all of the other colleges that offer those associate degrees in the senior colleges. Two, it gives students a degree, and they can say with pride that I'm a graduate of a college. And given the nature of that many of our students go in and out in terms of enrolling out and trying to get a job, it makes them more marketable. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to charge a graduation fee for those students who are getting the associate degree here at Medgar Evers. Now, the faculty has to make sure that the associate degree articulates well with the baccalaureate degree so that students don't end up taking extra courses. Now, I learned this, and I'll tell you how I learned this. I learned this from talking to my colleague at Staten Island, because they were two colleges historically, and so they had a formal process for graduating from the associate degree program and a formal process for going into the baccalaureate degree program. And I said, my God, why didn't we do this? Because then our statistic rates in terms of graduation will be comparable to them and other institutions. And that's not lying. That's not massaging the data. It's just simply making it happen. And there are two advantages I see readily. Again, our graduation rates will go up. Two, our students will become more marketable. So that if they never graduate with a baccalaureate degree, they're still a college graduate. And in order to do just by those who just want to get an associate degree, we're not charging for the associate degree. And whether you apply for it or not, we're going to send it to you in the mail. So, but there's an implication here. The advisement process has to work. It has to work. The faculty, if we don't improve the advisement process, and let me share with you, I'm going to move on, but I'm going to share with you why it's all this important. I serve on the committee to decide on those factors that we use to allocate additional resources to all the constituent colleges in the university, and whether or not one will get X number of additional faculty lines. As I'm reviewing the document over the weekend, there it is, Medgar Evers, in a negative for graduation rates. So we lose. So let me say, it's in our self-enlightened best interest to make sure that students administer all pre-collegiate academic work, which I've already talked about. The rationale, again, will relieve the existing academic departments of responsibilities of dealing with post-secondary readiness, enabling faculty in those departments to focus on the work which they do best, for which they were hired, and that is teaching in degree programs. Two, recast academic advisement so that it becomes more effective across the college. I've talked about that already. Now let us move to the School of Business and Public Administration. By the way, copies of this entire speech are available at the outside door when you leave here. I'm not giving you a speech. It's free. The work is tremendous. But I wanted your attention. I don't want you flipping it through the document. You know, when you get students certain things in classroom, they want, instead of listening to you, they're flipping through, say, where am I on this? So we want to make sure. The School of Business and Public Administration merged the Associate and Applied Science degree in computer application, currently housed in what is now the School of Business and Public Administration, in the Management and Computer Application and Public Administration Department, with the Associate and Science degree in Computer Science, currently housed in the School of Science, Health, and Technology, and the Physical Sciences and Computer Science Department, and create an Associate and AA degree in Information Technology to be housed in the School of Science, Health, and Technology within what is now the Department of Physical Sciences and Computer Science. While enrollment in the associate degree program in computer science increased in the period of 1992 to 1993 through 1996 and 1997, the graduation rates over the same period has been only 1.9 students per year. Now that's a rounded number, folks, so that they're not these 9/10 of a student. Similarly, while the enrollment went up in the AAS and the computer application degree program from 1992 to 1993 through 1996-1997, the annual graduation rate during this same period has been only 3.6 students. These two computer-based degree programs draw from a strikingly similar population as we look at their demographics. Also, there is sufficient overlap in the curricular offerings to warrant closer collaboration with the faculties. The information technology field is one of the fastest growing fields of employment at present. There are many jobs presently available in central Brooklyn and throughout the city of New York, and the prospects look good for the future. There are students who have graduated from LaGuardia Community College in technology, starting with a salary of $42,000 as the minimum. $42,000. I was with a major firm that works out of, that supplies the support for the Wall Street, the World Trade. They cannot find sufficient workers, even with bonuses. So this is a growing field. This degree program promises to be a center of excellence for the school. This combined program will have the potential to spawn a baccalaureate degree program in the future. Combining the program will also provide for enhanced program quality, better utilization of resources, and increased productivity. The rationale for housing the newly created degree program in the School of Science, Health, and Technology is that the larger of the two existing programs is currently housed there. 2, redesignate the proposed BS degree program in applied studies to become a BS degree program in professional studies and house this new degree program in what is now the Department of Management, Computer Application, and Public Administration. This is the upper degree program we have been talking about. That is, students who have completed their associate degree would apply there for advanced credit and will only have 2 years to go in order to get their degree. Will be the first in CUNY and one of 2 in the state of New York. 3, phase out the AS degree in business administration in what is now the Department of Accounting, Economics, Finance, and Business Law, and retain the degree in what is now the Department of Management, Computer Application, and Public Administration. The rationale, this degree program is more appropriately housed in what is now the Department of Management, Computer Application, and Public Administration. 4, re-establish the certified management accountant emphasis as an option in the BS degree and accounting degree program, and set appropriate pass rates for students taking the CMA examination on the first attempt with increasing pass rate goals for each subsequent year. Also promote the certified public accountant CPA emphasis as a center of excellence in the department, and set appropriate pass rates for students taking the CPA examination on the first attempt with increasing pass rate goals for each subsequent year. Rationale, the department needs to establish a center of excellence for which it will be known. The BS degree in accounting, particularly the CPA emphasis, can and should be that niche. Establishing pass rate goals for the CPA exam will set the benchmarks for working towards achieving that goal. Moreover, improving our academic programs entails, in part, preparing our students to pass certification examinations. 5, phase out the AS and BS degree programs in public administration in what is now the Department of Management, Computer Application, and Public Administration. Rationale, a combined total of less than 7 students graduated annually on an average between 1992-93 and 1996-97, and both the BS and AS Public Administration degree programs. 6, create the following emphasis within the BS degree program in business administration. 1, management for nonprofit management, for profit management. 2, marketing. 3, finance and economics. 4, entrepreneurship. And 5, government and not-for-profit management. Rationale, offering 1 BS degree in public administration within 1 department with these emphases allow for streamlining of effort, enhanced quality, and improved productivity. In addition, it allows the school to create unique niches by establishing emphasis in entrepreneurship, governmental, and nonprofit management. Establishing the emphasis in entrepreneurship recognizes the need to create a niche within the BS and business administration programs to prepare students to be entrepreneurs as a mechanism to spur urban economic development in our community. The government and non-for-profit emphasis provide the college with the ability to offer students a strong basis in core business and management principles, as well as preparing to pursue careers in government and other public agencies and non-governmental organizations through the addition of an 18-credit sequence in managing governmental and other non-for-profit entities. 7, change the name of the Department of Management, Computer Application, and Public Administration to the Department of Business Administration. Rationale, the proposed department name would better reflect the degree programs being offered. 8, change the name of the Department of Accounting, Economics, Finance, and Business Law to the Department of Accounting. Rationale, there are only 3 degree programs in this department, and none of them is in economics, finance, or business law. There are business, BS, business administration, AS, and accounting, BS. The proposed department name would better reflect the degree programs being offered. And 9, change the name of the School of Business and Public Administration to the School of Business. Rationale, the overall focus of the school and the aspect that attracts students to the school is the business focus. School of Science, Health, and Technology. 1, merge the AAS degree in computer application with the AS degree in computer science and create an AAS degree in information technology to be housed in the School of Science, Health, and Technology within what is now the Department of Physical Science and Computer Science. I've already talked about the rationale there. 2, establish a Department of Physical Sciences to be comprised of faculty from the Department of Physical Sciences and Computer Science who teach in the Environmental Science program and the Physical Science faculty. Rationale, the Physical Sciences component of the current Physical Science and Computer Science department is strong, and with the development of a baccalaureate degree in environmental sciences, the Physical Sciences are beginning the development of what could be several strong baccalaureate degree programs, including programs in chemistry, physics, and other physical science technology, in addition to environmental science. The increasing significance of the physical sciences, exemplified by the establishment of the environmental science degree program, warrants a separate department with appropriate resource acquisition to allow it to develop as needed. The singular focus on physical sciences of the department faculty will enhance the development of the program. 3, establish the Department of Computer and Information Sciences to be comprised of faculty from the Computer Science Associate Degree Program and faculty who teach in the Computer Application Associate Degree Program. 4, phase out the Department of Physical Science and Computer Science. Rationale, the structure proposed in item 2 and 3 above better positions the faculty currently in these departments and explicitly delineates the roles and function of the department in relation to degree programs and faculty expertise. 5, expand the pre-med and pre-dental emphasis in the BS degree program in biology. Rationale, there's an increasing number of students who have expressed an interest in medical and dental careers. This emphasis leads to addressing a need within the central Brooklyn area, the preparation of doctors and dentists with a high quality faculty. And the amount of student interest in this area, we have the potential to make this program a center of excellence at MEC. And 6, set appropriate pass rate goals in the nursing department for the state certification examination. That is the PN and RN on the first try, with increasing goals each year. Rationale, currently the success rate on these examinations is not consistently high and can be improved. Improving the academic program entails, in part, effectively preparing our students to pass certification examinations. And I envision our nursing programs becoming centers of excellence. And 7, establish a BS degree program in mathematics. There is a need in the community surrounding the college and the larger community for this program with emphasis in 1, math education, and 2, applied mathematics. We should commit to making this program one of our centers of excellence. The School of Liberal Arts and Education. 1, establish pass rate goals in the Department of Education for the NYSTC, that's the New York State Teacher Examination, with increasing goals each year. Rationale, currently the success rate on this examination is not consistently high and can be improved, as we have mentioned here earlier. Improving the academic program entails, in part, effectively preparing our students to pass. I more believe that our teacher education program should become a center of excellence. This is particularly true as we are focusing on preparing individuals to teach in schools in urban centers. 2, phase out the interdisciplinary studies department and reassign all of the faculty appropriate existing departments within the college. Rationale, there's no clear need being addressed or proposed to be addressed by the interdisciplinary studies department. Moreover, with increased focus toward the college on transdisciplinary approaches to the curriculum, the articulated rationale for the department will no longer be relevant. 3, establish the Department of Africana Studies with a BS degree in Africana Studies. Rationale, with the nature of the population surrounding Medgar Evers College, that is the largest African descent community in the United States of America, there is clearly a need for a degree program focusing on history, political organization, ethos, creativity, economic organization, social organization, and mythology of this population. Moreover, utilizing our strong transdisciplinary faculty, including many of those currently teaching in IDS, we can create an exemplary program in this area. This also has the potential of being one of our centers of excellence. 4, establish a BA degree program in the performing arts in the Department of Mass Communication, Creative and Performing Arts and Speech. Rationale, for its own identity, this department needs a degree program. Within our surrounding community, the area of performing arts is of extreme significance. The department seems best positioned to focus on program development in this area. 5, establish a BA degree program in English in the language and literature, communication skills, and philosophy department. And parenthetically, I would say take communication skills out of this name too. Lights, please. Somebody standing on the lights. Get off the lights. Rationale, there's always a need for a degree program in English. While our LLCP faculty has done an outstanding job with the teaching of service courses and in teaching students an Associate of Arts degree program in liberal arts, we are presently underutilizing this fine and distinguished faculty. 6, all of you are fine and distinguished, but the energies have been directed in another direction. And that's the point I'm making, that we want that energy to be directed to where they've been basically trained and they find joy in their discipline. 6, because I don't know about you, but if I had a PhD in biology and they told me that, Edison, the best you could do was teach the most fundamental biology in the world, and that is elementary science, I'd be kind of upset about that. I did not need to go all the way through all of that and get a PhD in that field to teach the most fundamental. Now, one ought to understand the discipline from the beginning to the end. But let me leave it there. 6, establish a BA degree program in political science. Wait a minute. Political science, public policy in the social and behavioral sciences department. Now, this is not a traditional, my proposal is not a traditional political science degree program, because then that's not a niche. Political science, public policy. All right, that's a whole nother slant than emphasis than the traditional political science degree programs that we find in CUNY. The rationale, this recommendation reflects a more structured and current re-engineering what is now the public administration program, which I am proposing that we phase out. And ladies and gentlemen, I have an idea how to fast track this proposal if you all do the work. There are some proposals, when you merge and collapse, it's easier to get those programs approved than if you start from square one. So I'm saying, I should have said this up front. In my proposal and my assessment of the institution, every faculty member that currently has a job will have a job in a new proposal. In my proposal. You might be doing something different or a different slant, but even when we take remediation, change it, there will be positions in your discipline. 7, establish a BA degree program in international relations in the social and behavioral science department. Rationale, the goal of this program would be to provide students with a broad world view, as well as to prepare them for careers in such areas as diplomatic corps and foreign service. This is also a growing area. And when you go to the State Department, and when I've gone to the State Department, and now the State Department is dealing with developing countries and et cetera, and they have difficulty finding people that look like some of us in this room in order to have a more effective strategy for a foreign policy strategy. This proposal is consistent with the college articulation of a need to internationalize the curriculum. As the world becomes smaller and smaller, this area is becoming more and more important. This is particularly true for individuals who live and work in the New York area. Our international faculty also provide a rich set of resources with which to pursue this direction. Expected outcomes of re-engineering the academic enterprise. The paramount objective of undertaking this re-engineering of the college is to create a better college. The following outcomes are envisioned as a result of this proposed re-engineering. 1, increase student retention. 2, increase graduation rates. 3, improve student, faculty, and administrative morale and productivity. 4, enhancement of the college's image in the eyes of internal and external constituencies. 5, niche creation. 6, more efficient and effective use of human and material resources. 7, improved quality of the college graduates. 8, more competitive positioning of the college. 9, maintenance of the spirit of open admissions. And 10, better ability to address external accountability demands. With more focused departments, greater student accountability measures, more focused and centralized post-secondary readiness skills assistance, it is highly probable that student retention and graduation rates will increase accordingly. One of the goals of reengineering, or MEC, is not to set appropriate time to degree. One of the goals is to set appropriate time to degree completion targets for each of the MEC degree programs, which would mean having an average time to degree completion rate comparable to those of similar institutions with non-traditional students locally and nationally. This could be accomplished by, one, creating the Post-Secondary Readiness Center with appropriate material and human resources, and two, establishing standards of performance in MEC degree programs that are comparable to those in similar programs locally and nationally. This re-engineering will provide the operational infrastructure, philosophical underpinning, and insightful vision necessary to satisfy the college's external and internal stakeholders. Potential funding sources will observe enhanced program quality and improve productivity. Businesses and corporations will receive a better prepared student capable of assuming productive roles in their organizations. Students will be better positioned to accept the challenge of a rapid and changing world through programs with increased rigor and relevance. Alumni will feel abundantly proud of their new association with the college, as many of them do today. Our faculty, staff, and administrators will have increased pride in the college themselves, their students, and their graduates. Niche creation would occur through the creation of centers of excellence. These centers will ultimately be known through the city, state, and individual degree programs become more competitive with comparable degree programs elsewhere. As a result, each school will be better able to attract high-quality students. Through re-engineering, there will be a better alignment of each school's vision, mission, goal, objectives, curriculum, and activities with student admission criteria and expected outcomes. In addition with appropriate human and material resource allocation, the expectation of the college and its students will be more efficiently and effectively addressed. Improved quality of the college graduates with, one, center of excellence, two, appropriate human and material resources, three, appropriate admission criteria with empathy, four, rigorous and relevant curricula, five, appropriately challenging graduation criteria, and six, standards for students' performance. The value of an MEC degree would increase within the marketplace over time. More competitive position of the college. The college will become a more attractive option for New York City, New York State, and other high school graduates from around the country and the world. The college's competitive advantage, low cost, dedicated faculty, and accessibility will be enhanced through the further development of high-quality competitive academic programs. Maintenance of the spirit of open admissions. All students who apply to Medgar Evers College will be directed to an appropriate forum for skill enhancement where necessary, and all students will be able to move from one tier of the institution to the next at any point when they demonstrate appropriate proficiency. Now, who must do what? I have raised and addressed a series of probing questions regarding our current academic programs. I have, as a result, developed a series of recommendations embodied in the two proposed initiatives. I now call on the college community to conduct a similar analysis with the goal of, one, affirming the appropriateness of my recommendations, two, proposing some alteration of my recommendations, or three, suggesting alternatives of strategy. The fourth option is not an option, and that is staying as we are. Okay? I mean, that should be clear to all of us. Initiating and performing and implementing the re-engineering of the academic enterprise must begin as soon as possible and be completed within the next 3 academic years, and I'm not even sure that we can take 3 years. I have to, if the board policy is passed, I have to, or all the presidents, have to submit a detailed plan for the implementation of the CAP, Comprehensive Academic Plan, that the board will pass on the 23rd, and all that that entails in terms of restructuring, engineering, re-engineering our institutions. Effectively, immediately, we will engage in a 30 to 45-day campus-wide discussion of this proposal. Venues will include, but not limited to, department meetings, school meetings, stated meetings of the faculty, the college council, the academic council, the Student Government Association, the Alumni Association, the Community Council, and the Faculty Senate. And did I get everybody? If not, then we'll talk about that too. A formal ad hoc committee structure will be established shortly thereafter to begin mapping out the re-engineering effort. It is clear that additional human and material resources will be necessary in order for us to re-engineer this institution and for it to be successful. In this regard, the college master plan must be given priority within the university. Medgar Evers College can become a model for post-secondary education of people who live in urban centers. Moreover, the college can establish a substantial niche in higher education in the United States. These accomplishments cannot occur overnight. In order to reach these heights, we must re-engineer the college in significant and substantial ways. We must re-engineer the college in order for the institution to refocus its energies on the success of the academic enterprise, which is the heart of the institution. I reiterate here that this effort at re-engineering the academic enterprise of the college is only our first step in re-engineering the college. In order to significantly impact upon the development of the college and to address the changing needs of the college, we must re-engineer the entire institution. I'm asking the provost, in concert with me, to lead the discussion and the debates that will take place on the campus. He has my confidence, and I'm sure that he will lead this effort. I have some responsibilities that are given to me by the Board of Trustees, and I will exercise those. I'm not going to step away from the process, but it is our responsibility. Our responsibility. In this discussion that will take place, or discussions, let us not allow our disagreements to force us to be disagreeable. There are some, I try to, in the best of the tradition of academia, to lay out a vision that I believe will stand us in good stead. And I pretty much have not brought anything before this faculty or college that we have not basically been successful in. And what I'm asking you to do is to enhance. See, we put our collective intelligence and experience and bring it together. This can become a better plan. But I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we must have a plan. And it cannot be heating over leftovers. We have to seriously look at why we are doing what we are doing. I want to also say that I am serious about the notion of academic excellence. There's still a small core of adjunct faculty members who come to our institution with low expectations of what they're going to give to our students. And I'm charging the department chairpersons and the academic deans to not reappoint them again. Not to reappoint them again. Because I'm going to hold the deans and the chairperson, more specifically the chairperson, responsible, because you're supposed to know what's going on in the classroom. And when people take liberties of not coming to class, not coming on time, not being prepared, then leaving early, I wonder if they were at some other institution, would they do the same thing? I wonder. And since I'm not president of some other institution, I simply want to send a message out, and you communicate that. That is not business as usual adjuncts. Now, I don't have to say this to the full-time faculty because they are committed, they are dedicated, and they're going to do the job. In some departments, adjunct faculty bear almost 50% of the teaching load. And the numbers will get better as we go forward, but to some extent. Our students need all the time they can get and more. So even full-time faculty members, if you've got to be absent, you're going to get someone to subs for you. I mean, that's not unheard of, but you got a responsibility. In order for us to become better, many of us have to become better. What am I saying? We cannot, and those who may, cannot come in our classrooms with low expectations, not challenging our students, and then they leave us and cannot compete. If a student has not earned an A, don't give it to him or her. If they haven't earned a B, don't give it to them. After you have done all that you can, and then more, there's a day of reckoning coming. A's and B's are not sympathy grades, nor is a C, but surely if students come to you and talk about, you know, I've had it hard, give them incompletes to come back to Sweden next semester. We'll work with you. But you have not finished what I have outlined and what I know is required of you if you're going to go to the next level. And develop a plan for them. But don't. And the reason why I'm making this point, because the Board of Trustees has hired an audit team, not auditing financial affairs of the institution, but auditing grades and faculty issues and course outlines and course syllabi. And then you know what they're going to do? They're going to publish the results. Every little piece they send up to the provost a letter. We want to know this. We want to know if there's grade inflation. We want to know this and that. Now, all that is fit into a larger picture, ladies and gentlemen. So there are compelling reasons why we must re-engineer Medgar Evers. Now, this is a great place. It's been a marvelous 9 years as president. Absolutely. And we have some challenges before us. And we are trying to provide a vision, a context for moving forward. I'm confident that if we re-engineer the college in the manner in which I'm proposing it in terms of the context of it, we will be positioned to meet the challenges of the future. You will note we talk about student admissions, program consolidation in some cases, creation of new departments, and adding new degree programs that will round out our academic offerings and make us a comprehensive liberal arts undergraduate institution. I want to thank our provost, Dean Gonzalez, Dean Nan Fisher-Williams, Dean Fontaine Davis, Dean Arthur Taylor, Dean Edwina Hamby, and all of your associates in the Academic Affairs Office. I'm not going to name them because I'll forget them and all of them, so I'm not going to do that. This proposal has gone through many iterations. And I want to share with you that the provost and I are on the same wavelength. Not on a separate one, on the same one. And I say that because it's nice when you have a person, a colleague, who also is on the same wavelength with you and comes with that experience and that view as the chief academic officer under the president and the #2 position in the college. And I just believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the time is ripe for Medgar to get its due share in the higher education community. I'm not depressed by what's going on because I see it as an opportunity. If the board policy is fully implemented and they be honest with it, we ought to get a new population of students that we never had, as well as serving the traditional population that we had historically. There's an if though, that's conditional. If the process has integrity. Because there are going to be substantial students who will not be able to go into the senior colleges, the baccalaureate degree programs, who historically have gone there and will come here. Because they'd rather not go to a community college, but they'd rather go to the college that offers baccalaureate degree programs. So that is the direction. I'll take 5 questions. Dr. Malachi.
I'm glad you extended the invitation for the academics to do input on this proposal. And I personally can give my own for this proposal. Of course, I see a lot of merit in this proposal. However, there are several things that come to mind. Number one, in terms of attracting another population to the school who are get barred or excluded from other institutions, the main way students, as we know, go to another institution is through word of mouth. And a lot of that has to do as much with how the students themselves are treated as the academic program, the quality of the academic programs that are offered. Now, a major shortcoming I see in this proposal is a lack of recognition of who our student body is. Now, it may not be what certain people would like it to be, but the fact of the matter is the majority Black women. And I don't see anything in the proposal that talks about the study of Black women or where that's going to be in the curriculum. And in that respect, to me, it seems very traditional, especially when we look at it in a world context, where the major initiative by the United Nations, the major policy initiative, has been for gender equality in the last 10 years. That's the major initiative of that world body. And I would like to see this factored into the curriculum, number one. Number two, as a side, I heard what you said about Africana studies. I'm wondering in this country, a little playground, like interdisciplinary studies has been made to be, and there will not be a degree program. If there's going to be a degree program, or we just want to play with looking at lessons. And the third thing I'd like to raise is international relations. I don't see how you can have a strong international relations degree program without international studies. We have to have the study of the world as part of any kind of international relations. And students have to be exposed to the world. That's one of the first things that we can insist on. They have a supervised international experience as a way of understanding and consuming knowledge in international studies. So I just wanted to raise those facts, but most significantly, who our student lives is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to, your comments are very appropriate. I want to, the first, I'm not unhappy with the student body we have traditionally served. What I am unhappy about is that many of our senior institutions, when students do direct admits, join those institutions and then end up back at Medgar Evers because they flunked out there, because they didn't belong there in the first place. So there's been a robbing of our traditional population that 20 years ago we had a complete lock on. Secondly, you make a very good point. The greatest recruiter is a satisfied customer. And some of you don't know because you in terms of faculty, but I'm putting as much emphasis on what the other side of the house is doing in terms of serving our students. Most of our students who leave here don't generally leave because of bad teaching, but the way they've been handled. And I have a plan that I'm going to deal with some of those folks who don't want to deal with serving our students well, and it's in process. Now, in that area, there might be some non-reappointments. I'm serious, because I'm sick and tired of talking about folks mistreating our students and acting like they are an excuse in our trouble when they come into our offices. I'm preparing letters to go to all the staff members who came in late last Wednesday, and I'm dropping it in your file. I'm serious, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, I got to respond to Dr. McLaughlin's comment. One of the things you may not know, but if you know anything about this provost, Africana studies is not going to be a talk. It will not be. The notion about international relations and the point you make, it can't be unless we incorporate those kinds of issues that you've talked about. What I'm hoping that I would get from the faculty is those kind of concerns, so we can fashion it and shape it and include those things that we think are important. I just laid the broad headlines, if you will. And I'm asking the faculty to then put the meat on the skeleton, if you will. So that's kind of the direction, but your points are very well put, and gender studies have to be. You can't talk about the number of females we have here and not talk about gender studies, and have it in a prominent way, a prominent position in our institution. Dr. Tager had a name, then Lorenzo Williamson, and then Ronnie Hector. Yes.
I just had an answer. Their faculty and students at CUNY are trying to do a campaign to back material to the board to ask them to hold a decision on Monday and to think about having pockets around the city to have people speak for what kind of admissions we would require, what to do with remediation, that it should be open for more dialogue. And they're asking, in fact, each of the different CUNY trustees. I don't have the papers out and back. You can take it, and they're on the front of it, it says pretty much how you can word it. You can reword it in some way, but it says many faculty and students are asking do that, I would really appreciate it. I'll put it out there in the discussion material. And there's also a demonstration on the 23rd in Boston.
Let me, quite well, let me suggest that it is my understanding, come hell or high water, what I want to make a point though, that the board will go forth on the 23rd, particularly since they modified the policy as it was originally constructed. I'm not suggesting, however, that one ought to give up. I want you to understand that that's a distinction. You maybe understand what might be the reality, but if you don't say anything, if I had kept quiet last week, you wouldn't have perhaps this other point in it. So yes, follow the suggestion that our colleague has made. The documents in the back, and you need to participate in. Lorenzo, then Ronnie, then Dr. Oley, Dr. Green, Dr. Rivera, and that's 5. Okay. Now let me say this. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. There will be many, many opportunities. So if you can't get your comment here, that's all right. I will, either the provost or I will be conducting college-wide meetings where everyone can come to and discuss and make presentations. Ultimately, in the final analysis, all of the recommendations, these recommendations must go to the college council for its approval, and that is our governance body. And then whatever changes need to go to the board of trustees for final approval. But that is the process. So everything that we do in final analysis has to go to the college council because that is our governance structure at the campus. Mr. Williamson.
I think John Descartes seminar 2 weeks ago, I think, 3-4 weeks. I don't think you saw that on the same aspect of marketing school and that the consumers of the product want to see. I think you should encourage your colleagues to speak well of these people in this community because they really don't do a good job when they're out there. I've listened to the comments and you're like a stepchild and every blame that you can find, and you're not. You need to invite them here. It's much more of like the environmental lab and a conference here in fact with us. You talk about this increasing chemistry to the students. I really wonder if we have a facility right now and whether that's a long term or or short term. So I commend you on what I'm talking. My final question is student government. I think again the role students will play is one of recommendation. Clearly we are the consumers, and I think there has to be a body of information that somehow will be a data collection on student viewpoint on several of these things. You might consider it marginal, but it might be useful. I don't know if that is good. Those are my...
Yes. In fact, what either the provost or we together will do, will hold a meeting, conduct a meeting where students can come and we can hear from them. So that's part of the whole process, beyond the student government and the normal structures that students serve on. I will say that students serve on just about every committee in the college. There's a seat, that is. And we have to ensure that the students are in those, actually have appointed and serve on those positions, on those committees. Because that is also a place where you can influence decisions before it gets to the college council. That is very, very important that happens because in the final analysis, the governance structure will prevail in this whole process. Mr. Hector?
Listening to your speech, Dr. Jackson, you mentioned public administration being out. Being president of public administration of science association, there's many categories that would fit into public administration, Africana studies, international relations, political science, and public policy. However, those are BA programs and a BS program. And when you said it, when you said BS, you said African studies. But right now, we have a program, the public administration program is a BS 3. And I think It's a science of being able to deal with Africana studies, international relations, and public policy, and political science. It's a science. It's not so for a BA program. It should be recommended as it should be a BS program. So that would encumber the field of coming to the college.
Let me suggest that, again, I've put forward a set of recommendations. Nothing is, well, there are some things that are sacrosanct, but I'm suggesting that we have to have dialogue. And there's not a whole lot that I expect to be persuaded on to do differently, but I can be. And depending upon the persuasiveness of your argument and the evidence that you present, there could be modifications. It is not cast in stone. What is cast in stone is how we make this institution a better institution and position it to survive in a quality way in the 21st century, the third millennium. And that to me is very important. Because we like it or not, there will be a smaller university in the next 5 years. It is my hope that Medgar Evers will grow and not become smaller. And the way that we're trying to position the institution would kind of build a hedge so that would not take place. Dr. Ole, then Dr. Green, and Dr. Rivera, and then we'll yes.
I'd like first to commend you and thank you on behalf of the Faculty Senate for the moving and very persuasive presentation you made along with the planning committee. I heard of this from many government leaders and also from the Secretary this morning. We spoke very highly about it. It seems to have moved the board in the direction of rationality, for an understanding that one block is not too long. So I thank you for your efforts on behalf of all of us. And also to remind the faculty we have a meeting to discuss these issues of the education. The meeting is this Wednesday in the rest of all. Hope to see you all next.
Let me just emphasize, you need to take the time to attend the meetings on the campus, whether it's the Faculty Senate or other meetings, so that you know what's going on. It makes no sense when we have a plan and then you want to torpedo it because you did not participate. Get into the process now while we can, and come forward. Please do that and show up at the Faculty Senate meeting. The whole admissions piece is a very important one. Very important. Dr. Green?
Good afternoon, colleagues. And I just want to say one thing. We all know Dr. Jackson, and we all thank you for what you have done. It's incredible, and those who can work with you. I'm not going to show those bouquets now. I will later. But now that I have a captive audience, I want to repeat what I said since I came here 22 years ago. None of this will we have any joy from if we don't work on Tier 2. Tier 2 is going to be a Herculean task, sir. And I want every person sitting here to have some input into the new center that's going to be created. I'll be here another half hour. But put your efforts into that, because if our students cannot read, write, or speak, all of our efforts will be wasted. And all of the suggestions that are going into Tier 2 and the creation of the new center, we've had some marvelous centers here since I've been here. And for however and whatever, they've all been washed down the drain. But remember that in order to train our students to read, write, so that they can think critically and do advanced reasoning, that's where we have to put our major effort, and in the mathematics part. I don't talk about the mathematics because I had it on my fingers, but I do know that I can teach reading and writing and oral communication. And that's what our students have to do. And so every one of you, no matter what your expertise is, all teachers in all parents cannot teach reading and writing. They know their subject area, but when it comes to transmitting it and transposing it so that our students get the contact, there's a big gap. So please stand behind the provost and his staff and whomever, every person that's on those committees. Dr. Johnson, I'm begging them, because that here too is the important here, so that when we look down the line after the next semesters or whatever, our students will be not coming in being on the 34th grade level and not being able to think. Thank you very much.
Dr. Rivera? I can't hear you. Would you stand, please?
The vote is going to be voted on the 23rd.
Yes.
On possible recognition and remediation, on possible direction. That will be policy for the university.
Yes. I have a copy of the most recent, the 9 p.m. Friday evening version, and basically they are, just so everyone understands it, the community colleges, 1 year remediation they can enroll. They deleted the requirement of an SAT score that was in the formal draft. And the admissions for senior colleges up to 1 semester. And some colleges may select a lesser time period. That is the proposal on the table and will be considered at the board meeting on the 23rd.
I have always started conversation about a way to remediate social injustice that have been done in our community, and I think it's has been a great experience for New York and for the country, and the university has been always a leader in that, and the legacy of organization is a positive one, and I agree that we have to make some adjustments. Given the fact that our student body comes unprepared in general, that the median is low, as you said, of that community colleges, and that many of our students need ESL, what do you think the impact of this 1 semester and 1 calendar year of postgraduate readiness is going to do to our student population? How do you record it in terms of numbers of students, etc.? I want to share your opinion, but I'm very careful. I think this is quite tough. I would like to be in a very candid and honest way, tell me what you think about that.
Let me say that I would not be putting a proposal forward, just as a background, that I do not believe that would work for the institution. What I have in my head and what we have been discussing with the provost and the cabinet, and a lot of it has been discussed for the last year or two, is talking about a different type of delivery system for academic post-secondary readiness center. In terms of more time on task, we're looking at arrangements something like this. Summer immersion program, that's about 6 weeks. And for those who don't get out of that, they will have the fall semester to do that. The people who are adults who are working, who cannot participate in a summer immersion program, which was one of my contentions at the board when they were just saying that would be the only way that folks will come to the baccalaureate degree institution. I said, what about all the rest of the folks? And those who come in the fall will have the fall semester and intersession to complete their work. So in fact, they have 2 terms, but a different type of environment. So I anticipate, be honest with you, I anticipate that our numbers are going to go up. Now, all of this, it's a gamble because, I don't control all the other variables and we don't control all of those. But if I kind of look reasonably out there, I'm not as distressed as I was. And my thought is what we are trying to do, what I propose, will position us so that the issue of enrollment will not become a problem. One of the reasons why we talk about the students being referred to the adult and continuing education, because we want to control them. We want them to be a part of us, to work with them, and to make sure that they come back into the system, up through the system, if you will, and come to Medgar Evers as a college student. One of the issues that has not been addressed yet in the board's policy is that they call it pre-collegiate skills. And they are suggesting that those students are not enrolled or accepted to those institutions. And the question I raised is, what about financial aid for those who need it in order to enroll in a summer immersion program? So that has to be worked out. But and my position is that the summer immersion program, they would have been accepted conditionally, and if they didn't do whatever necessary within a semester, then that's another question. But at least so they would be eligible for financial aid. And that also be a rational policy for reassigning those students to the system. Now the policy, the document speaks to the career counseling and that kind of work, but I tell you, I know how difficult it is here to get people to do what they're supposed to do. And you're asking a system to do it, it's even more difficult. So the ESL, there's a proviso for the ESL in a different kind of way, so I'm not as concerned with the ESL students because of the way they've structured the language in the CAP proposal. Yes, I'm not, indeed, in terms of who comes in first and where they go first, yes. But there is a place for them. And they treat ESL a little differently. The other part is, a very important point is that students can only repeat remediation twice, and they're out of here. I mean, out of Medgar, they're out of the university. That is whether you're a community college student or a baccalaureate degree seeking student. That is one of the reasons why it is so important that we create greater success in the post-secondary Readiness Center. Hopefully I'm going to have to find something else. But you get what I'm saying. That is so important.